Secretary Ronald Llamas, of course, kung may ano daw, may slicing daw ng confidential fund, pero yung isa-slice daw yung episode natin. So, I'm just
Tawag,
slice.
tawag yan, Richard, pakyawan, pinapakyaw mo. So, mahilig ka rin sa kanya, mahilig ka rin siguro mag-ukay, no? Mag-uukay ka rin siguro.
Ayan tayo. Plug you boy! Ukay boy! Oh, hindi yan ukay. Legit yan na 70% off sa Zara. Anyway, let's talk about this because the big argument behind the confidential fund for a non-security department, I mean, I think you and I, like any reasonable person, will agree that kailangan ng Philippine Coast Guard, kailangan ng AFP, kailangan... Hindi ko alam doon sa sinasabi ni Gibo, diba? Pero kailangan ng lahat ng legit na security agencies ng more budget, considering we're facing a giant, right, in the West Philippine Sea. And not to mention yung mga bakery, forums, mga ganon. So, kailangan talaga natin ng funds yan. So the only justification I see for having large-scale confidential fund, at least this is the argument, is that meron daw infiltration ng ating mga educational institutions. So yung DepEd is now on the front line of national security and fighting and all. Now, okay, I get that, except I also hear na tapos na pala yung NPA eh. Talo na sila, wala na daw sila. So, ano ba talaga? Tapos na ba sila? Or ang lakas? They cannot be two things at the same time na totally opposite. They cannot be so overwhelming and super scheming and infiltrating mga 6-year-old, 7-year-old kids' classrooms. And at the same time, ay wala na, tapos na yung ubus na yung lahi nila. You cannot have two things at the same time. So this is the fundamental problem I have, Ronaldo. When it serves their purpose, i-exaggerate nila yung power ng NPA and communists. When it serves their purpose, they also say tapos na sila. Like, so Ronald, let's have a real talk here, no? Which is, ito na, minute na pumupula na ako. Sa yung palagay, because you were Secretary of Political Affairs, you are someone who's aware and very familiar with the progressive movement. You have been following the peace process and the not so successful peace process negotiations between the government and the communist movement, etc. Ano ba ang kalagayan talaga ng communist movement sa Pilipinas? Ang NPA po ba ay paubos na? Ang NPA po ba ay lumalakas pa? Or ang NPA po ba ay nasa hibernation? Lalo na ngayon, wala nang Joma season, wala na yung mga Tiamzon. What's going on? Ron, what is your assessment of the state of the NPA movement in the Philippines? What's the real score?
Konting background, Richard. Noong 2011,
please,
background.
Oh, sensitive tong topic na to eh. Please go ahead.
Nagpadala ng letter si Joma Season kay Vice President Binay. Pinaabot ni Vice President Binay sa Presidente, kay Pinoy, yung letter na gustong, dahil bumara yung official peace negotiations, gusto niyang buksan in a different track. No? So, nagpadala siya, tapos pinag-usapan namin sa cabinet, pinag-usapan namin sa OPAP, doon sa ating in charge sa peace negotiations. So, ang sabi ni Pinoy, puntahan mo nga, Ronald, puntahan mo nga si Joma, tansyahin mo kung siya ay seryoso dito sa kanyang letter. So, early 2011, pumunta ako sa UTREC, no? Kasama ko sila Chito Gascon and two more, no? Sabi ko kay Joe, pwede bang tayo munang dalawa mag-usap? Wala munang audience. Yung mga tao mo, yung mga kasama ko, no? Palabasin muna natin ng kwarto, one-on-one muna tayo. So, ayun, doon kami nag-usap. Tinanong ko siya, ikaw ba talagang seryoso dito sa pinopropose mo na special track? No? Ikaw ba ay talagang seryoso na i-pump prime uli itong peace process? Sabi niya, no? Hindi ko makalimutan yung exact words ni Joma. Sabi niya, come on, Ronald. No? We have to negotiate while we have something still to negotiate with. No? Yun ang sabi niya. No? Yun ang sabi niya. Seryoso kami. Dahil hindi naman ito forever eh. Yung aming strength, yung aming base, no? Habang meron pa kaming pang-negotiate.
From position of strength.
Oh. Seryosohin natin itong peace talks na ito. Kaya reading above the lines, between the lines, malinaw yung kanyang mensahe, no? Hindi na kami ganun kalakas, no? At hindi kami forever nandito. That was 2011. No?
Wait,
Yun yung,
sorry, Ronald, why? Bakit, again, let's do more background to your background, right? Parang ito Star Wars, let's go backward a bit pa. So, ano yung konteksto ng yung height of power ng communist movement? Of course, yung saying na Marcos was the best recruitment because of the martial law and all. What was the height of the communist movement? And what was the beginning of the end for them before we go to the 2011 situation? Can you just give a short briefer dun sa mga...
tingin
Kasi
ko yung,
hindi marunong hindi alam ng tao itong issue dahil masyado siyang politicized dahil kay Digong.
Tingin ko yung height ng communist movement was the 80s. No? The 80s yung height. Pero dito rin nagkaroon ng defining moment. Dahil medyo they missed the boat nung snap election ng 85. Diba? They boycotted the snap election. Kaya nung 86, nung nangyari yung EDSA, hindi sila masyadong pasok dun sa EDSA uprising. Diba? So, in a way, the 80s was the height of the communist movement. Dahil nga, yung martial law humihina na, no? Yung health ni Marcos ay humihina na, dumadami yung mga human rights violations, dumadami yung cases of corruption, at bagsak yung ating economy for a myriad of reasons, no? Bagsak ang prime commodities, tumaas ang oil, no? Tumaas ang ating debt, servicing, etc., etc. So, ito was a perfect storm para sa hindi lamang sa opposition, kung hindi pati sa communist movement na lumakas. Ang problema, nagkaroon sila ng error noong 85. Nung sila ay nag-boycott nung election na naging channel ng resistance ng mga tao, no, na hindi naman ideological against Marcos. At a year later, nangyari yung EDSA, medyo outside the kulambu sila. Sinubukan nilang sumali, pero dahil because of the boycott, nung 85 snap election, medyo hindi ganun kabilis yung pagpasok nila. So, kumbaga, it is a Dickensian, the best of times and the worst of times.
Can we pause it there? When you say height of their power, in military terms, did they have like 100,000 troops or something like that? Just to quantify, just to give an idea when we say height of their power, like in terms of number of membership,
Siyempre, hindi natin sigurado yung numbers, pero
guesstimate.
Pero meron siguro silang mga 20,000 combatants, no? Siguro the same number para sa mga militia, yung mga partially armed na mga political operators. At ang mas mahalaga yung base. Malalaki yung kanilang mga mobilization, marami silang members, maraming cadres, no? Yan yung pa. Pero at the same time, Richard, nagsisimula na yung cracks ideologically. Bakit? Dahil yung Maoism, hindi na siya yung model o hindi na siya yung ideology nung China. No? At that time ay medyo talagang nung 70s tsaka 80s, medyo umaatras na yung China sa Maoist ideology. No? Nagkaroon na sila ng opening up both economic at saka ideologically. Kaya ang tawag na nila socialism with Chinese characters. No, hindi na siya Maoism. Nagsisimula na yan. So, tapos yung Communist Party sa Pilipinas ay very hardline Maoist pa rin. So, yung ganong klaseng ideological difference between the mother country, no, yung pinanggalingan ng Maoism, is slowly taking its toll. Kaya within the party, may iba-ibang ideas na nagsisimulang mag-permutate. Fast forward, noong 1991, nagkaroon ng major split within the Communist Party. So even at their height, nagsisimula na yung mga ideological at saka political weaknesses, internal contradictions ng Communist Party, ng Communist movement in the Philippines. So nagsisimula na yan, which eventually led to a major split in 91. No? Diyan nangyari. Diyan nagkaroon ng reaffirmists at saka rejectionists. Diba? And the rest is history.
Can you explain Ronald, because our audience is, let's just say, quote-unquote mainstream, no? So who are the reaffirmists, who are the rejectionists? Just for
people. The reaffirmists are yung mga, ang tawag nila, i-reaffirm nila yung Maoist ideology. together with the organizational and political strategy connected with Maoism, no? Na isolate the cities by the countryside, no, peasant-based revolution, etc., etc. No, yung rejectionist ay parang let us explore other socialist ideas. Let us explore other ideas other than Maoism. No, okay, Maoism is part of the history of socialism. Pero wag tayong masyadong maging dogmatic. Lalong-lalo na, wag nating i-absolutize yung armed struggle.
Yes, so
No?
crucially, you rejecting usage of violence to overthrow the existing regime to put some sort
Hindi
of...
naman rejection, pero sinasabi lang nila ay wag i-absolutize. Ibig sabihin, open pa rin sila sa other forms of armed struggle. Pero hindi na siya yung automatic na primary. And all other struggles should be subsumed to it. Ibig sabihin, no, ang pinakamahalaga, armadong pakikibaka. Parang yung ganong klaseng...
And rejectionists say, rejectionists are against that, na hindi dapat pangunahin ang
Yes, ang sinasabi nila, pwedeng may iba't ibang strategies of struggle at hindi ibig sabihin na yung arm ang dominant. Pwedeng political, electoral, etc. No? So merong mga iba ine-explore yung urban uprising. Yung iba ine-explore electoral. Yung iba ine-explore yung associative economy.
Yeah.
Diba? Let us create more tawag nila patches of green. Let us explore direct democracy. No? So para dun sa mga reaffirmists, that is anathema to Maoism. No? Pag lumabas ka na dun sa dogma ng Maoism, ikaw ay traitor. You are a traitor. No? At ang problema sa mga communist movement, yung sinasabi nilang main enemy, tinatawag nila the direction of the main blow, ay hindi sa kalaban. The direction of the main blow ay dun sa nagpapanggap na revolutionary. Diba? Kaya naging violent yung split. Diba? Even before the split,
purges na, no? I mean,
nagkaroon na ng mga purges, no? Na basically ay in tune sa isang centralized organization. Dahil kung very centralized, very dogmatic, no? Talagang paranoia is a vulnerability. Madali kang maging paranoid kung ganun ka-secretive, ganun ka-centralized, ganun ka-dogmatic yung iyong organisasyon.
Out of touch ka. Very Stalin, very Putin, right? It's almost inevitable when you purong yes man lang, you're removed from reality, your power, absolute power. It happened to Stalin, it happened to Mao, it's happening to Putin now. So I think this is not something totally alien to us, no? Now, Ronald,
yeah.
So just again, for the information of some people who are not very aware of this, I just felt we finally have to talk about this kasi hindi siya, I just don't feel it's properly understood in even mainstream informed political discourse, right? So where is Akbayan here vis-a-vis this rejectionist reaffirmist split? Saan naman papasok yung mga grupong katulad ng Akbayan who are more democratic?
Well, Akbayan was never a part of the Communist Party. Diba? Akbayan came from different traditions. Civil society, no, political parties, NGOs, no, at saka yung mga tinatawag na mga democratic socialists at saka social democrats. So, talagang iba kami. Although, nung
more Bernie
nagsimula
Sanders.
At saka yung Akbayan, nabuo much later. 98. Nabuo siya much later. Pero, nung early 90s, meron na mga usapan. No? May mga usapan na within different forces. Halimbawa, sila Randy David, sila Dodong Nemenso, no? Kami, iba't ibang mga traditions na kita-kita. Na ang tingin, the movement, the progressive movement should be more pluralist, more democratic, and more open to other ideas. Kahit meron siyang ideological platform, vision, at saka moorings. So, we believe in ideology, but it has to be more pluralistic, more democratic, and more dynamic. Yun yung kwa.
So,
Kaya
or katulad ng Germany, Denmark, yung mga ganyan system, yung mga social democratic
well,
system.
may similarity in terms of democracy, may similarity in terms of pluralism, may similarity in terms of involvement with electoral struggle. Pero iba kasi yung mga social democrats sa Europe eh. There was a social pact between capital, di ba, between government and between civil society to create a society na pwede tayo magtunggalian pero may minimum. Social protection, rule of law, di ba? Etc. So, ganun yung nangyari. So, yung social democracy or socialism sa Europe, medyo naiiba dun sa democratic socialism, halimbawa ng akbayan. May similarities pero iba. Dahil
Pero
sila
hindi
kasi,
sila communist movement. I mean, I just want to clarify, hindi sila
definitely,
always,
definitely,
they're not. Okay, so
definitely,
that's the most
definitely.
important one. Now,
Yes.
Secretary Llamas, medyo may background na tayo dun sa backgrounder mo nung 2011. So what's happening next? Because alam natin, during the Aquino, one of the biggest achievements, which Digong, in fairness to him, continued is yung negotiations with the MILF, right? Which more succeeded, at least technically speaking. But my understanding was there was a hope that in parallel, maging maayos din itong negotiations with the communist movement. So where did it go right before it went totally wrong, right? Kasi,
Well,
lots
mismo
of
naman,
hope.
Richard, mismo naman yung icon ng guerrilla warfare, si Che Guevara. Ang sabi niya, kung yung constriction ng democratic space, ibig sabihin kung yung pagtanggal ng space for opposition, for criticism, free media, etc. No? Kung yan ay babalik, no? Ibig sabihin, magkakaroon ng freedom of the press, freedom of political parties, no? Freedom to organize, etc. Yung reason for armed struggle, mababawasan. No? Mababawasan. Dahil yung armed struggle ay lumalakas kung may constriction ng democratic space. Ibig sabihin kung
law, pinakamataas
kung
yung
nawawala.
power.
Yan si Che Guevara yan, ha? Si Che Guevara yan. Hindi yan si Richard Hidarian, ha? Hindi yan si Ronald Llamas, ha? Galing yan
si
mismo
Robin
kay Che
Llamas.
Guevara. So, after no EDSA, tingin ko, nagsisimula nang makaapekto yung democratic space within the armed movement, which is the primary form of struggle of the Communist Party of the Philippines. So, hindi lang siya nangyari sa panahon ni Pinoy. Tingin ko nangyari siya nung panahon ni Cory, ni FBR, etc. No? Bagaman, nandyan pa rin yung New People's Army dahil nandyan pa rin naman ang injustice. Nandyan pa rin naman ang inequality. Nandyan pa rin naman yung failure ng ating judicial system. No? Yung failure ng ating economic system. Pero yung rational na walang ibang form of struggle except armed struggle ay nabawasan na dramatically. Yun yung nagkakwan. Kaya in one sense, nagsisimulang lumiit yung armed struggle, which is the main strategy of the Communist Party. Diba? Yun yung main strategy. All the other forms are subsumed to it. No? Nakapailan. So nagsisimula na yung magkwan. Ngayon, yung ating military, no, at particular moments, papalakihin yung dami ng insurgents para din ma-maintain yung kanilang budget o ma-increase. But kung wala na yung insurgents, mababawasan na rin yung reason for being ng kanilang budget. Di ba? Lalo na yung intelligence fund. So,
war economy.
Kaya minsan, yung ginagawa ngayon, ginagawa yan in the past. Pero ang kaibahan ngayon, nagsisimula na mag-pivot papunta sa external defense rather than internal insurgency. Di ba? Yun yung nagbabago. Kaya hindi na nila kailangang bulahin yung mga tao na ganito karami ang mga insurgents, ganito karami ang kalaban ng gobyerno sa loob ng bansa. Dahil may peace talks ka na sa MILF eh. May peace talks ka na sa MNLF. Hindi lang peace talks, may political settlement. Di ba? Tapos, yung Communist Party nga, nakaalyado pa, sinuportahan pa si Duterte noong 2016, di ba? And for 2 years, yung kanilang mga allies ay na-appoint for the first time, na-appoint sa cabinet. No? So, nagbabago na. No? Nagbabago na. And you cannot put the genie back into the box. Diba? Nakalabas na yung genie, mahirap na ibalik. So, yan yung nangyayari ngayon. No? Mahirap sabihin ng military o ng Secretary of Education o Vice President na kailangan natin ng daang-daang milyon para sa intelligence fund dahil lumalaki, lumalawak, lumalakas ang mga terorista, ang mga komunista, ang mga insurgent.
Yeah, medyo laos.
Mahirap ng pangatawanan 'yon, no? Mag-imbento ka ng ibang dahilan. Huwag 'yan, no? Huwag 'yan dahilan na 'yan. Kaya yung column ko kanina sa Abante, ang sinabi ko, 125 million ginastos ng Secretary of Education for confidential funds. Tapos yung Coast Guard ginastos, no, less than 125 million in 17 years, no, for their confidential funds.
And kalaban nila is China. And kalaban nila
China. Lalo na ngayon, ang pinakamalaki is an external threat. Diba? Nagtawag ni Senator Gibo, invasion. So bakit ganun kalaki yung agwat? No, in 11 days, mas malaki pa yung Intelligence Confidential Fund o confidential fund lang ng Secretary of Education kesa sa Coast Guard in 17 years. No? Yun yung aking title. No? Sa column ko kanina. Hindi naman sa pinipage ko yung aking column dahil nagbabasa naman yan.
Okay lang. Please promote your no, because people the Secretary Llamas, Ronald, I mean, people are interested to find your works also. It's basahin ka. So please go ahead and promote. That's why we have this art show now. So ikaw, if I were to ask you, anong assessment mo ngayon? So kung height ng power nila yung 80s and the disintegration was happening already for quite some time, ano sa tingin mo yung kalagayan ng armed struggle ngayon ng NPA? Even compared to your time when you were in the your time, I mean, in the administration with Pinoy, no? You think they're far weaker now than even then? Is what's happening now a situation na may kanya-kanyang parang protection rackets here and there? Is that how it is, as some people are saying it now?
Tingin ko mataas yung casualties nung latter part ni Duterte. Dahil talagang tinugi sila, di ba? Talagang tapos nitong nakaraang taon, yung leadership, marami yung namatay . Si Joma, yung founder, tsaka chief ideologue, namatay. Yung head ng NPA, no? Si Benny Chamson, yung head ng Communist Party, si Wilma Chamson, no? Tapos kasama nila yung cream ng kanilang leadership. Kaya tingin ko tinamaan ng husto nitong past 4 years, no? Past 4 years. Hindi ko alam yung actual status nila, pero tingin ko ay dramatically weakened, no? Kaya mahirap na gamitin na sila yung dahilan para sa increase ng intelligence at saka confidential fund. Lalo na yung focus ngayon ng gobyerno is external defense, no? Kaya doon dapat ilagay, no? At nagsisimula na. Kaya mahirap na i-justify ngayon na yung ginagamit ni Vice President at ginagamit ni Secretary of Education, no, to justify yung hundreds of millions in intelligence and confidential funds per year. Not by a stretch of the imagination na kaya i-justify yan, no? Yeah. Dahil hindi na ganun kalaki yung threat ng mga insurgents at this point.
So Ronald, tama si Digong na paubos na yung NPA compared sa before, pero hindi tama yung sumunod na Duterte na sinasabi na ang laki ng problema ng NPA, kailangan natin ng malaking confidential fund. Is that what I'm reading here, diba? So it looks like at least one side of the Duterte equation is correct here, no? Last part of itong episode natin, pag-usapan natin itong reprimand, no? At least slap on the wrist na binigay ng Ombudsman Office kay General Parlade na nasa Aguinaldo, nasa ano na sila, di ba? Aguinaldo World na yata siya, Cavite or something. At saka itong SMNI resident political analyst Lauren B, no? I mean, wait lang, sino ba itong mga tao na to? Kasi Nakilala ko lang sila nung panahon ng Digong na parang kung ano-anong sinasabi yung kay Parlado siya ba yung pakanan ng Oktoberfest. Ano yung yung Russian lang 1970. I mean, hindi ko talaga tapos yung Lorraine B naman, Diyos ko naman, ba't naman si Mayor Magalong, I mean, you must be quite something, right? To go after Mayor Magalong, a PMA graduate, right? A police deputy PNP chief guy. I mean, that just shows how medyo off kilter na itong situation natin. What is your take on this slap on the wrist? Is this saying like, hey, BBM na tayo ngayon, iba yung tono ni BBM, umayos-ayos na kayo dyan? Kasi this ombudsman office is not known necessarily as your most, let's say, proactive ombudsman office, to put it mildly.
Well, Richard, no? Itong si Parlade tsaka si Badoy, together with their kind, ito yung mga naging attack dog nung panahon ni Duterte na para sa red tagging, no? Ang dami nilang ni-red tag di ba? Pati si Heidelin, yung ating champion, no? Pati si sino nga ba tong newscaster sa Channel 5? Si Gretchen Ho, di ba? Pati si Angel Aquino, mga artista, no? Pati nga si Mayor Magalong. Kaya medyo absurd itong mga taong ito No, lahat ni red tag nila. 'Di ba? Lahat ni red tag nila. Ang hindi na lang nila nire-red tag yung Richard Heydarian No, yun na lang hindi nila nire-red tag, no?
Kasi masyado daw ang konyo.
Baka yun, dahil yung accent mo kasi, akala nila yung accent mo Forbes Park, yung accent mo, no? Hindi nila alam yung accent, hindi nila alam yung accent mo ay yung mga sa estero sa Iran, no, sa Tehran, no? Akala nila kanyan
mga sa Baguio Boy na yung mga Cat Boys. So yun
yung nakilala yung mga yan diyan sa red tagging, no? Diyan tumaas yung kanilang political capital at most probably diyan din tumaas yung kanilang mga sahod. At saka yung kanilang confidential intelligence
Red
fund.
October. Wait lang, may na-correct tayo. Red October.
Pero ngayon kasi, hindi na uubra. Dahil nga may pagbabago na sa Tokhang, di ba? Wala nang Tokhang. May pagbabago na sa dating pivot sa China, di ba? May pagbabago na sa bagamat meron pa rin mga human rights violations, hindi na kasing dramatic o kasing dami nung panahon ni Digong. No? To clarify, meron pa rin. At dapat pa rin niyang mawala. Oo, no? Halimbawa, may napatay na lawyer sa lugar nyo.
Juan Sambayan ba siya? Juan Sambayan, convener siya sa Abra, no?
Oo. So, talagang dapat tapusin na yan. Pero, kumpara nung nakaraang gobyerno, talagang masyadong malawak, no? Kaya nga dapat ito hindi lang a tap on the wrist dapat kasuhan yan no? Kasuhan yung mga yan dahil ginatungan nila Ginatungan nila yung Tokhang, ginatungan nila yung red tagging. So dapat pag-aralan ng mga abogado paano sila kakasuhan.
Si Atom,
no?
Si Atom Aurelio, meron sila.
Si Atom Aurelio at saka yung nanay niya, di ba? So kailangan pag-aralan talaga paano yung kakasuhan na hindi lang ganyang kalight, no? Yung parusa sa kanila o censure, no? Dahil sila unrepentant no? Unrepentant. Ilan yung konektado, ilan yung mga namatay, ilan yung human rights violations na pwedeng i-connect diyan sa kanilang red tagging. Yun ang dapat pag-aralan. Para merong
yung ICC, di ba? Pwede pa ICC.
Yung dotted lines, no? Yung dotted lines ay maging straight line diyan sa mga human rights violation. Halimbawa, yung sinubmit na pangalan sa ICC, hindi lang si Duterte. Yung mga publicly nag-support sa Tokhang ni Duterte, kasama sa sinubmit sa ICC. No? At hindi kinakailangan ng smoking gun, literally or figuratively. Hindi kailangan ng prima facie evidence. Statements alone, no? Statements alone supporting the EJK, supporting the killings is enough to get you in trouble with the ICC. Dapat ganun din ang gawin kay Parlade, kay Badoy, at iba nila mga kasama.
Pero mabait tayo kay Robin Hood kasi si Senator, very reasonable naman yung sinasabi niya. Support tayo kay President BBM. Yun, no?
Tsaka nahuli lang naman siya. Illegal possession of firearms eh. Hindi naman siya nahuli sa
Wala akong alam
EJK.
dyan.
No, hindi naman siya nahuli sa EJK, no? So ibang
In
usapin
fairness
yung
kay Senator Robin Hood, I think, again, I know mababash na naman ako for saying this, but I think his heart is, in the right place. It's just that, sana yung energy niya at saka yung political capital niya, medyo lumayan na siya dun sa the whole DDS thing. It's your number one senator. Go for your own legacy. Dapat Robin Hood Padilla, sir, go for your own legacy. You can do a lot of great things, including for your community, the Moro Muslim brothers and sisters that you represent in a way, no? So kaya nga nasasayangan ako ng konti. Pero in fairness naman kay Senator Robin Hood, nag-pivot naman siya, di ba? Ngayon, support naman tayo. Except, just to remind you, hindi po trabaho ng Senador to cheerlead for the executive. Medyo may sarili kayong trabaho. But besides the
mukhang, kaso Richard, mukhang tingin kasi niya, yung kanyang legacy ay connected sa 2028. Kung saan pwede siyang tumakbong vice president.
Yeah.
To another Duterte, di ba? So baka kasama yan sa kanyang strategy. Baka tayo, hindi natin naunawaan yung kanyang strategy. Baka sa kanya malinaw, no? Baka sa kanya malinaw kung nasaan yung kanyang heart.
Malinaw yung heart, pero yung 2028,
baka talaga yung kanyang heart ay nasa right place talaga, nasa kanan. Hindi nasa left.
Let's not go into
you don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. No,
Ron, I don't want to go into anatomy kasi akala ko yung picture dito sa likod ay exciting. Mas exciting pala yung nasa likod. I don't want to get into trouble. I'm just appreciate art, aesthetics, diba? Everything like that. So, Ronald, very thank you very much. Thank you for putting paintings. Sabay tayo may mga paintings. So, except yung sa'yo, original.
Sabihin mo kasi hindi ako cultured eh.
Hindi,
no?
Baka sabihin mo kasi fake lang yung sa akin sa'yo. Original.
Baka banatan mo ako eh. No? Baka sabihin mo, kaya ko lang makipagsagutan kay Robin Hood eh.
Hindi naman.
Konti naman tayong kan.
Thank you so much, Secretary Llamas, for
anytime. No? Next week ulit. Next week ulit, yung ating 3 sessions.
3 in 1. Meron na tayo setup dyan. Sensor ko pa yung first part na minention ko yung mga
Oy, nami-miss ko yung mo, leather jacket mo eh. Naiingit ako ron eh. Saan mo ba nabili yun? Ha? May kapatid ba yun?
Saan yan?
Yung leather jacket mo?
Kapatid pero hindi pa rin kasya sa'yo. Pero, speaking of utang, naman nagpaparinig ka na at kausap ko yung mami ko, ma, yung mga t-shirts natin dyan ng mga kapuso, gano'n, ibalik mo na sa akin, bigay ko kay Ronald. Sumisingil na, ma, yung mama ko dyan. Kay Ronald, sabi ko nga.
Wala pa akong t-shirt ng Real Talk at saka
Ronald,
The Daily Show of Richard Haydarian. Ba't hindi mo i-explore yun, Richard, yung Daily Show? Ang mga Pinoy ko Pinoy gusto nila ng tawanan eh. Kaya nga sikat sila Dolphy, di ba? Kaya nga sikat yung mga natin, yung mga politicians na nagpapatawa. Gawa ka rin ng mo, Jon Stewart mo na
Actually,
Daily Show.
You're right, You're right. Wala tayong
satire
sa Pilipinas. Napansin ko talaga.
Gusto ng mga tao na ridicule yung mga people in power eh. Di ba? Yung mga sineseryoso yung sarili nila. Gusto ng mga nanonood na you burst their bubbles. Di ba? Ayun lang, kailangan na natin yung maraming abogado dahil mukhang
yun lang sasabihin ko, kailangan natin ng full team kasi marami sa atin. Ngayon, si Robin lang gano'n.
At saka, bumili ka ng bulletproof car.
Yeah, yun lang. Ayoko nang gano'n kasi yung aesthetic kasi sa akin. Baka masira yung aesthetics ko. Ronald, ayaw kitang pahamak but I know you had guns before. Baka magpahilig ka sa akin. Ako, I know how to do it.
Ako, I'm so at peace. Diba? I'm so at peace, diba?
125 million. Let's go. All right. Maraming salamat.
Okay, salamat.
Huwag kang mag-alala. Maghanap ako ng ukay-ukay na shirt na para sa atin R&R, diba? Pwede rin Robin Ronald, pwede rin Richard and Robin.
Lagyan mo ng R&R tapos may 2 sungay.
Naman tayo.
The Bad Boys, no?
Cloud
Bad
chasers.
Boy, Richard,
Chasers.
Bad Boy,
Ronald,
Donald.
cloud chaser daw tayo. Pero
Yeah.
kahit cloud chaser tayo, para sa bayan natin ginagawa yan. So thank you so much again, Secretary Llamas, for another fantastic period. I hope that you get some rest. Alam ko madaldal talaga tayong dalawa, but I still hope you get some rest. And let's catch up soon for another 3-in-1. Hopefully 5-in-1. Depende yan. Depende kung
Gusto ko malasahan yung single malt eh.
Yeah, ayun tayo. Ayun tayo.
Kahit wala na yung t-shirt, basta may single malt.
Baka parang umakyat. Umakyat.
Lagi ko pa namang out of the country, kaya tingin ko naman
baka isabay, kailan ba birthday mo at saka Christmas? Isabay na natin lahat para one time.
October 5.
Ayan.
Malapit na.
Wala.
October 5.
Birthday. Tayo para kayo. Secretary Llamas. Alright. Thank you very much, sir. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Don't worry. Alam ko may utang pa ako sa'yo. Tawagin ko yung mami yung mug natin. I-edit natin yung mug natin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard.
Christian Esguerra, yung mga facts personalities. Thank you sa mga Tulfo natin. Sa lahat ng mga
Mas gusto ko si Christian, meron t-shirt tsaka mug.
Wow. Uy, yung ganun t-shirt kahapon ni Christian, ganun sa wall. Okay, anyway, let's go. Thank you so much, bro. Talk to you soon. And have a good day.